Hi everyone, a big welcome back to the podcast series. You'll hear that I am sniggering and laughing away because that's what happens when you meet some interesting people like the lovely Emma Bricknell from Made in Belfast. So every moment, Emma, with you is bonkers. Okay, so we're just going to get that out at the beginning in case anything goes nuts.
Sorry.
So this is like, we're on our third recording, and this is the one we're not going to edit.
We're not going to be disgusting.
But,
be good.
So what we really want to talk about, Emma, is how you got to where you are today. So we're looking at Made in Belfast now. There's 3 restaurants. You've been in Belfast just over 10 years, and we've one planned now for early New Year. So how did it get from you working in hospitality, being interested in hospitality, and then ended up in Northern Ireland? Because clearly you're not from here. No.
So basically, I've worked in lots of places, from like Sydney to Ibiza and hospitality and stuff, in London and Cairns and blah blah blah. So after Australia, came back, wasn't really in a good place in London as a young lady, and had lots of really good friends in Northern Ireland to come over for weekends away, and just really actually liked the place. I remember thinking, like, it's not what I imagined. The people aren't what I imagined. It was all very nice, very cool. It was really local. And I came back quite a lot, but did notice that Belfast needed something different than the restaurant scene that it had. East London girl, knowing the background, I wanted to bring something that you'd see around the Brick Lane areas, places like Hoxton and Dalston. I wanted to bring it over to Belfast. So, through property moves and just taking chances and a lot of help from family as well, was able to start number 1 and then progress from there, really. So that's... Yeah. But I pulled it out of a hat. That was the idea. I put a few places in a hat and pulled that out, and
it was different. You were bringing something that was very, very different.
Yeah, it was at the time. It was really different.
That can't have been easy.
It was really difficult at times. It was basically, I think, the only thing negative I'd say back then, not so much now, is that Northern Ireland, or the people were really quick to sort of dictate what you should be doing and what they think should be in your business. They weren't very accepting of sort of different things. I found that really a struggle. Not everybody, but it felt like a lot at the time. And financially that was scary. Things have drastically changed in Northern Ireland. Yeah. We're seeing so many different restaurants opening. There's talk of Moroccan restaurants and Korean barbecues in the pipeline, which is fantastic. So it was really, really hard, to try and get people into some of the products we were selling. But it worked, like the fish finger sandwich and sort of Swedish dishes and stuff. It was difficult. But I think now I'm envious. It's a lot more easy for people, I think, opening. Yeah. But it's a different time.
Without making it sound like a cliche, you really did trailblaze this style of restaurant here in Belfast, especially. Because I noticed that over the years, other sort of quirky places have popped up. Yeah. But the reality is, most people you talk to will say that Made in Belfast is the first one.
Yeah, I suppose there's nothing new under the sun for starters, and we all get our ideas from other people down the line. But it took me a long time to go, you know what, we were the first of its kind in Northern Ireland, and I'm really proud of that. It was hard going at first, and it was very eclectic, and we had to source things from places. That was difficult, and it was all done on a budget and done with love. So but we were the first, and I've definitely seen people sort of copy us and stuff, but that's fine. Surely that's flattery, isn't it? If people want to be like you, that's a nice thing, I think.
And when you were going off, and because obviously one of the things that Made in Belfast really known for is the wonderful interiors that you have, the fact that they're so creative, so eclectic, so kitsch in some way, shapes and form. How do you go up around that process of picking what you want and how you want? Is it just that you find stuff you like so you make it fit, or is there a big plan?
I suppose, I mean, initially the source bit had to come from, because there was no money. So we didn't have a lot of choices. It was a lot of skip stuff and second-hand furniture and things that people gave us and things that were made up, and we gradually added things. I haven't got an interior design background. I love interior design. I think, a lot more advanced than I used to be, and I would like to change the place actually now. I think we'd like to get a bit more squidgier, a bit more comfortable. Sometimes the chairs haven't always been the most comfortable, which I think was renowned in Belfast for chairs collapsing. Touchwood never got a massive claim in there. It just comes together. It's just me, I suppose, really, just choosing bits and bobs. I mean, I like working with certain interior designers and their fabrics and furniture now, but when we first opened, that wasn't an option. There just wasn't the money, so it just came together naturally.
And so you have the ability now where you can take that, I suppose, where you were at the beginning and your natural talent for it, and you're now able to integrate that with other professionals and designers and
yeah, we're able to work with other people
yeah.
and stuff. Like I love people like Abigail Ahern and Kelly West, two very different designers, Jonathan Adler, people like that. I really love their stuff. I mean, you know, the two latter, our design wouldn't be very much like theirs, but I do like their stuff, you know. But my ideas have changed a lot now. What I'd like from a restaurant to be, I love the places, but for me, it's time we'd like to redevelop them.
Yeah,
we're definitely looking for a move for the two Made in Belfast to bigger venues. I think they're too small for what we need to do now, so there'll be a nice big fit out there. We've got a new brand coming out, which is really exciting. We worked with the amazing illustrators Us Folk on that, which are great. And we're working with Terry Designs on the interior designs of the fourth venue, which will look very sexy and sassy. So yeah, you know, it's just keep moving forward. I'm not going to say journey.
Yes, on our last recording we talked about journeys, and of course of course part of all of this is that you're continually innovating, you're continually going away, coming back with new ideas, taking inspiration from here, there and everywhere. How important is that to you as an entrepreneur?
It's huge, isn't it? Like, research is everything. And sometimes people, you know, you see closures here and it's very sad to see that, but you kind of like, there's the internet. You know, research is everything in any company. It's just seeing, firstly, is there a market out there for the business that you have, and what do people want? Can you put your twist to it? You know, how's the style going to fit into that? Research is everything, and travel comes under it. Like, with, you know, for Northern Ireland especially, it is a little bit, dare I use the word, I'm not saying behind because that got me into trouble, or backward, but it was a slow to catch up because we haven't got the capacity here. It's a small population, and sadly, like anything, creatives tend to leave. Creatives are the one that create things, and naturally, of course, and they're the ones that in any sort of troubled area or war area, they tend to leave very quickly. They can't be creative. So your travel's really important, to go away, see things and bring it back.
So what made you stay? If it was so difficult, what was it about Belfast that made you stay? You must have fallen in love with something.
Wasn't a man.
I said something, no?
Some things, many men. No, it was, I suppose I've got amazing friends here. I love my friends, amazing people that have really helped me. Of a journey. They've helped me along the way, but people in Northern Ireland are really nice. Majority. I've had a fair share of nasties.
I was going to come to the fact that you're quite well known as being a bit outspoken and a bit controversial. Is that something that you deliberately done, or is it just
Never.
It just happen?
Never. I'm delightful. No, yeah. I just say what I think sometimes. Like, obviously, times have got to change. Even for me, I'm developing. So sometimes there's things that I want to say, and there's a way of saying it. And I'm lucky. I'm in a position now that I have a lot of people around me to assist me with these things, you know, to help me out with this. But I suppose what made me say initially, you know, like I might have every intention to go away eventually, like as a base and come back and forth. Ibiza's still very much at home for me as well. But you know, definitely the people Northern Irish people are lovely. They really are friendly. Yeah. Majority. There's a few out there that undesirables, but they are really nice. My friends here. It's a really safe place. I think in general, it's actually, believe it or not, it is funny enough, isn't it? Belfast is a very safe city, and it's got some amazing people here, you know, and creatives, and got some really good ideas. It's just so sad that, you know, government is sincerely letting them down right now.
Yeah.
And I think even local government, like councils now, are knowing that and wanting to change things. You know, there's an architectural movement going on, which is fantastic. I hope not all the buildings get pulled down and looking to do, because they are beautiful old buildings, but some of the new stuff is great as well. There's definitely, the music scene's fantastic. There's so many more events on than when I first moved here. And the way the areas are coming about, you know. So I suppose that's what's kept me.
And when it comes to, I mean, you talked briefly there about the politicians and the government here.
Yeah.
How difficult has it been to be a businesswoman in the Northern Ireland landscape with some of the restrictions that we have upon us?
It's ridiculously hard. It's so pathetic, some of these laws. The licensing's a joke.
Yeah.
There's no reason. And the people that hold it back are those who want to be part of the UK. And I have no idea in their, I'm going to say, pea-brained little heads why they think they can't change. It's a license. We should look at like Australia, how they do their licensing, and in America as well, with regards to how we regulate alcohol consumption and making us more responsible, because there's people here that have licenses that quite frankly shouldn't have them. So license needs to change. The licensing hours need to change for starters as well. Our Sunday trading hours need to change. We definitely need better flight path, places like Dubai and stuff, and obviously America, more places in Spain, Germany, France. But I don't know, local government just don't seem to have, I don't know, are any of these people actually in business, or do they have any passion in business? Who knows? So yeah, it's incredibly hard, and that has a negative and positive, that a lot of nationals won't come here for that reason. So when you look at places, like I looked into the Bristol market and places like that, independents have a really hard time. From an independent restaurant here, I don't find it difficult, as in to do what we're doing. It could be a lot better, and it would help me a million times to have licensing changed. But actually, suppliers, clients, the actual setup here, working, I suppose, even with council, it's not difficult. The success rate I think is higher, but it could be a better place to work with local government doing things, and we'd be in that sense financially, emotionally we'd be in a better place if they changed a lot more things. And even with like markets, closing down streets for nice markets, that would help a lot.
And one of the things that has really struck me about the Made in Belfast brand is just how obsessively passionate you are about sustainable produce and using local produce. Where does that come from with you? Is that something that has always been ingrained in your ethos?
Like I was vegetarian for 19 years, and then opened the restaurants. I felt like I needed to try meat, which was really hard at first actually. It sounds really dodgy, doesn't it? Not go down that route, so everything, like in London, the restaurants that I sort of benchmarked myself on were those that were really taking part in this new movement of sustainability. And you have to be, any corporation, any business, if you're not involved in the local community, if you're not involved in policy and environment, what are you doing? Like, what's the point of what we all question? What are we doing? Why are we here? That sounds a bit spiritual. I'm not a spiritual person, but like, what are we doing? If we're having, it can't just be about the money. You have to have an impact, a healthy impact on this world and on the people around us. So, and if you can do it in the tiniest little sign of it. So for us, like using local produce, recycling, using sort of green energy. We've just stopped today. I was like, right, no more plastic bags. You don't need them. We're putting everything in plastic bags. We're recycling. We're using plastic bags. It doesn't make sense. Recycle our hand towels. Where we can use non-aerosols, things like that. Like even our toilet, I was like, no, get rid of them, the sprays, just the pumps, even though that's actually vile, the smell, but how it's eco-friendly. All these kind of things,
This is all of these things are traditionally known as things that can be more costly for a business to do.
It is costly.
And more, I suppose, logistically difficult. So how is it that Made in Belfast has managed to be a good, profitable, sustainable business, supporting local produce, supporting recycling, supporting ethical values, but all of these other people can't and aren't? Not that I'm saying that every restaurant, but you see that there's so many say, we would love to do it, but economics, blah blah.
But maybe
blah.
if they did do it, then more people would come into their business. Because for me, like, why our place is successful, the ethics of and the morals of the Body Shop, it wasn't well, it was a lot cheaper when I was a girl. Now obviously it's not, but people are still using it. It's a huge brand. Like, people will associate ethics and morals to your business. Charity, like, you have to have charitable connection to business. You have to have something, you're doing something for somebody else, and it makes you want to work a bit more, do a bit more.
Do you think that's
it can't just be about the money? It can't.
Turnover is lower as well. The fact that you do have a better staff retention.
Yeah, I mean, chefs are incredibly hard. I mean, that's one thing, obviously, with government that we're working at the moment with them, that, what happens in Brexit if we can't get international staffing, because all over the world, Irish in Australia in Ireland, do you know what I mean? So, just having an ethical, moral business hopefully attracts a better staff force, a staff that wants to on board. I mean, they're incredibly involved in the business. the business isn't just me, and I sincerely mean that. Like, the business is run by a consortium of people, all of us involved. Like, there's no point me saying don't use black bags, or if they're not going to follow that through, if they're not going to recycle the food waste for like the wormery and stuff, and they're not going to